want to look at how persons with quality education can be.
For having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So viewers out there, please, you are most welcome. Continue with our discussion with Mr. Chancellor, the director. Yeah, would want to know much about what is NACE's current view on inclusive education for learners with a disability in Zambia?
First of all, let me say that when you read our constitution, the Constitution of Zambia, education is one of the rights that is also given as a right to all Zambians, regardless of their race, their tribe, their disability, their color, their shape, and therefore every child, every citizen of this country has a right to a quality education, not just education, but quality education, because education opens up doors for everybody. When I was young myself, every child, including children with disabilities, regardless of the disability, must have the access to quality education. And it's very sad that today in Zambia, a lot of children with disabilities are not being given quality education. I'm happy that today on LITOVIA TV we are discussing this very important topic, which will allow me to unpack the challenges that this country is facing and what must be done in order to improve upon this education which is being given to children, especially those that are living with disabilities.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For children with disabilities. And how is NACE's working to address those barriers?
Let me first say that for those that may not know what NACE's is all about, NACE's was formed 10 years ago. I'm actually the founder, and I'm a teacher by profession. I've taught in both private and the public schools. I left government some few years ago, and when I looked at the barriers to quality education, leading to education, so that we can have appropriate school infrastructure for learners with disabilities. Today, when you go to most of our schools, you discover that a lot of schools have no appropriate or enabling infrastructure to allow learners with disabilities, for example, physical disabilities, to access computer laboratories, to access libraries, to access classrooms. When you go inside classes, you find that one of the that can't see, you find that these classes are overcrowded. You have 120 learners in a class, and some learners are sitting on the floor. Can you imagine a child with a physical disability sitting on the floor without a proper sitting arrangement? That becomes a problem. Even where we have special units in certain schools, you find that assistive devices are not adequate. Some teachers are not trained. Even those teachers that are trained, the challenges that these teachers are facing, most of the teachers who are trained to handle learners with special education needs are not motivated. And you know better than me that according to research, one child with disabilities is equal to 10 other learners. And when you have 20 learners, then you have 200 learners in that class. So it is very, very important that teachers are given motivation, the infrastructure is appropriate, the assistive devices are learning and also training. If it means somebody having skills as a child with disabilities, the curriculum must be flexible to be able to manage that situation. At the moment, our curriculum is not flexible. and you find that the quality of learning for our children with disabilities is quite compromised. Most of them graduate at different levels with poor competencies, poor skills, and they don't end up with proper jobs, and that must be addressed. We must realize that nobody wished to be disabled. Nobody wants to be disabled, and the society under which these learners learn is actually conducive enough for them to be motivated, for them to learn according to their abilities. There was one time I went to a school called Kansenje Primary School in Kafue, where I found one child. I think he was mentally challenged. He was able to only write H throughout the year, only H, and it was not able to progress academically. We must find other skills that must be given to such learners so that they can get life skills for their future. If it means gardening, if it means farming, chicken rearing, welding, bricklaying, those skills must be made available in schools for learners with disabilities, if that is the pathway that they want to follow. So at the moment, the curriculum is so rigid, the environment is so uncomfortable from actually accessing this quality education.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful explanation. Now, let's talk about if I were a minister of education, the book which was authored by you. Yes.
Yeah, that's very. People thought I was actually setting up the minister, as if I want to become a minister. I'm campaigning to become a minister. The truth of the matter is that I've had this passion for quality education, and wherever I've gone, people have suggested that I write a book, especially with my experience in campaigning for quality education, not just in Zambia, but across the world, especially Africa. I've spoken at various local and international conferences. I've assisted a lot of people to start schools, and when I was planning or thinking of the title, I looked at what is contained in the Education Act of 2011, where the minister is the only official in Zambia who has the mandate, who has been given the powers to run education in this country. So if we want to change a metaphor, if I were a minister of education in Zambia, I would do the following. And I looked at all subsectors of education: teacher motivation, teacher retention. I looked at STEM. And one interesting chapter which you must read, Bran and everybody else there, is the chapter on inclusive education, where I've extended a pathetic condition, and something must be done to make sure that the state of inclusive education is actually improved upon. So this book is available if you want to read more about all these aspects that I've discussed. You can go to the NACE's Facebook page. Why I speak passionately about this education. We need to make sure that even inclusive education, as we are discussing today, is given premium, because without attention to learners with disabilities, then one group of society is going to lag behind, which is against the spirit of the 8th National Development Plan. There's also this against the spirit, if I were a minister of education in Zambia, that all children are equal and all of them must be given an opportunity to consume not just education, but quality education. So it's a very, very interesting book. Every chapter I've given what I would do if I were a minister in this country. For example, on the primary education, I've said we must make sure that early childhood education and primary education are given the maximum support, because these are the foundations: technology, engineering, mathematics, and these are subjects that have made countries like Singapore, countries like Japan, to actually take off economically. So I've also emphasized what must be done at that level. What must we do to make sure that STEM education is also prioritized, and that must also be given to learners with disabilities. There are those learners that can do very well in terms of sciences, in terms of technology, also engineering and math and the economies of this of our country. So it's a very, very important book, and I wish that the president can read it, the minister can read it, and all Zambians can read it to actually join this crusade for quality education in Zambia.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, for the wonderful answer. Now we look at the pupil who are deaf. Normally, sign language grammar syntax is different from the English grammar. Yeah. So is Nakezi also interested, tailored into their understanding as one way of your advocacy on quality education and also examination?
Exactly. When you talk about Nakezi, there's a word, quality education in Zambia. And when we say quality education, we are not excluding any aspect of quality education. Sign language is one of the be there to facilitate quality learning and teaching and also management of exams. We think that that is the way to go. And as I keep saying, we should not leave anybody behind. And you know, I'm happy that Brian here is expressing himself very well in sign language. We should not deny of education that we need a directorate, we need a department at the ministry headquarters, which must begin to have a department. There's no directorate at the ministry of headquarters. We don't have offices up to DEB's level. We need that directorate that must begin to listen to what we are saying, listen to what Brian is saying, listen to what everybody of teaching and learning, an important part in our exams, so that we can be able to assess our learners based on the language that they understand best. So Nakezi is going to continue to advocate for sign language to be included in exams, and ECZ must begin to think around these proposals so that we can begin to formulate agendas that promote inclusivity, that promote...
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Chansa. What collaborations has Nakezi formed with disability advocacy groups or community organizations?
Yes, Nakezi has been very collaborative, and one of the successful collaborations that we have had is with an organization called Disability Rights Watch. We have been hosting an annual symposium, inclusive education symposium. We have actually financially supported that symposium. This is a symposium that comes together every year from government, civil society. We impress upon government, the UN system, the civil society, and everybody to give premium to inclusive education. So Nakezi is going to continue supporting that symposium. We are also open to more collaborations, because the more we come together, the stronger the voices for quality inclusive education, and the better for all of us as a people. So takes care of children with autism. It's based in Kabwe. They are also coming up with a conference later this year, which we hope to support. Last year they had their first ever conference, which we supported. We think that even the children with autism, children with physical disabilities, and those with various challenges must be supported, and Nakezi is always available to support such ventures.
Wow, thank you so much. We encourage you viewers all to participate, and please feel free, Chansa. So how does Nakezi ensure that learners from integrated schools have a voice in the development of education initiative?
Yeah. It's a very important question, because You know, we don't have enough special schools, so most children with special needs are actually integrated in any other school. We call them children. I talked about children with maybe short-sightedness, children who are deaf. How are they going to be integrated in a class that is overcrowded? How are they going to fit into there? So we have volunteers, we have coordinators across the country, and when we have such challenges, we always engage school authorities, we engage district education authorities to see how they can help situations or for them. Sometimes we have radio and TV programs like this to raise awareness on the importance of inclusive education. We have conferences, as I said, like the one done by Disability Rights Watch, the one also done by Caleb Center for children with autism, which is in Kabwe. Aware of their rights as Zambians, they must also be able to speak out. If they find that the environment under which their children is learning, they must be able to approach school authorities, councillors, MPs, the DEBs, the PEO. If it's in Lusaka, they must go and approach the minister or the PS. These people are public servants. We must all be able to approach them, learners in a class, as a parent, as a councillor, as PTA chairperson, or just as a citizen. You have a right to raise that issue. You can go to the media if you want. You can go to social media if you want. You can go to the MP. You can go to the DEBs school. It's the responsibility of all of us, even the media, to raise and expose that gaps in our system in order to nationally raise awareness around the gaps that exist in our sector. Otherwise, without that national action, it will be very, very difficult.
Wow, thank you so much. It has really been indeed interesting. And viewers, please stay tuned as we go for a short break and we come with more interesting discussion. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
Ourselves in giving you the cleanest and safe, hygienic, germ-free environment in Zambia, and that's just a fact. We at Natural Valley take pride in the quality of our product so that you can safely enjoy our mineral water, rich in minerals, to satisfy that thirst and revitalize your body. So grab a bottle of Manzi Valley mineral water now to beat that thirst with the cleanest bottled water in Zambia.
Thank you so much, and welcome back. We continue with our discussion, and please, viewers, feel free to comment, bring in your comment. For reforms, Nakezi is currently advocating for that would benefit students in inclusive schools.
Yeah, as you know, Nakezi is part of the new curriculum, which was launched, I think, in January, which was launched last year, and implementation started in January. We are going to continue calling for more money. Just some few weeks, we had what we call a budget symposium, and we hope that once that money is given, learners with disabilities are going to benefit. We are also pushing for a directorate at the Ministry of Education. Together as civil society, we have written to government that we must have a specific directorate that must be able to begin to receive ideas, proposals aimed at improving the conditions for inclusive education in our country is established at the ministry headquarters.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another area of your advocacy is teachers' salary increments. Yeah. So how do you link that to quality education in your advocacy?
Discussing teacher motivation. This is where people make mistakes in Africa. They want quality education, but they don't want to pay a teacher better wages. When you go to a country like Finland, it is easier to become a doctor, it is easier to become a lawyer than it is to become a teacher. The best out of schools goes to become teachers. This is because Finland understands that our viewers, most of them are there because they went through a teacher. So teachers are very, very important. And in Finland, teachers get better salaries than lawyers and doctors. For a simple reason that we need to motivate a teacher in order for this teacher to perform at their maximum and produce quality graduates. Here in Zambia and Africa, other countries in Africa, we give peanuts to teachers. And this is the reason why you see Nakes always speaking for upgrades, give them allowances, and make sure that teachers, especially those that are in rural areas, receive the best rewards, compensation, so that we must not have teachers who are always worrying about the next meal or worrying about Nkongole. They must be well paid. And until we pay our teachers better, it will be very, very difficult for this country to realize quality education. So there is a very strong link. We don't want to see our teachers heavily indebted. Most of them are indebted. We want a situation where we improve the salaries first. We improve the allowances second. We also provide decent accommodation for them in order for them to be highly motivated, to be valued. And that way, you're going to see teachers that can produce to their maximum, and this country is going to benefit in terms of quality graduates.
In supporting more inclusive education system, and how can they get involved?
You know, when you talk about education like health, these are public goods that all of us consume. And when it comes to advocacy, it must not just be you and me and a few others. It must be all of us. More learners than 45, because that's the standard. The standard in Zambia is that one class must have 45 learners. So if you find there are more than that, go and complain to the head teacher. Go to the DEBs, go to everywhere. Or you can also go to the media if you can't go to these offices. It means that you are actually taking a part in that. If you have meetings with the MP, you have meetings with the councillor, meetings with the... Go to classes, go to schools, and demand that you go and see how children are learning. If you're not happy with any of the aspects that you see, you have the right to raise those issues with the head teacher. Our people out there may be able to do, and that is not outside the law. It is perfectly within the duties of a good citizen to be able to make sure that they also provide checks and balances, they provide social accountability, and that way we are going to raise a country that knows that this is not good for our country, this is good for our country, and that should be done for our people. I invite our Zambian people to get what people want.
Wow, thank you so much, thank you so much. And then we have with the SDG 10, which focuses on inclusive and equitable quality education. Now, does Nake's work align with this global mandate?
Actually, this is our pillar. Whenever we are advocating for quality education, we refer to these global anthems, I would call them. And you know, these we only have about six years to go before every UN member can go to the global stage to go and account for the successes. We hope that government of Zambia can be able to improve on funding so that we can do better in terms of the indicators. We need more devices, teachers motivated. We want to see more computers, more books. We want to see more classes that are decongested. We want to see proper infrastructure that is going to motivate both teachers and learners for improved learning outcomes. So we look at those SDGs, we look at the targets that are there, and we are determined to speak and engage so that Zambia can actually score more on those targets.
Would you encourage others, institution and the Ministry of Education to emulate the initiative that you have been working on?
You know, when you are speaking alone, no matter how much you speak, it can go as far as you can go as an individual. But when you come together as a team, the voice becomes much louder. And what we have been doing as NACASE is to bring as many people, as many organizations as possible on board so that we can speak and say, we work with Caleb Center for Children with Autism. We also work with teacher unions like SPETUS to share ideas and also speak for teachers. And we hope that the government will give us more space to listen, because our role is to check the gaps and to bring them to the fore. And the role of government is to make sure that it listens. I also want to invite the church to begin to speak about inclusive education, and also invite the public sector, the private sector, the corporate community to begin to support programs like this one, and also our initiatives, campaigns for quality inclusive education. We want to see these companies that are making money in Zambia. We have got MTN, we have got Zamtel, Airtel, Trade Kings, Zanaco, APSA. They should be able to work to this so that together we can begin to see certain things changing, not for anything else, but for national development.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, as we come to the conclusion, looking ahead, what are NACASE's advocates' plans across Zambia, Zambian education landscape?
Media, you know, the media can break or make. So work with the media like yours to make sure that we project what we think must be done. We also work with the church, work with civil society, and also work with the private sector. Work with the learners, work with the teachers, work with the teacher unions, and also universities and colleges, so that together we can march and speak with one voice, where we are going to demand for computer is being fought for by more than 100 learners, one computer against more than 100. That is not conducive. We want teachers to be given decent accommodation, not what we are seeing. Some of the teachers sleep in glass-thatched houses. It's an insult, if you ask me. We want teachers to be given upgrades because they went to school, got higher qualifications. They deserve these upgrades. We want better salaries, better allowances. We want teachers in special units for learners with disabilities. That's why we are saying we need a directorate, so that the director of that directorate should be able to receive these complaints. And NACASE is going to put this as a priority advocacy item, so that we sing as a song, and eventually, I'm very, very sure, eventually this directorate is going to be established at that ministry. Otherwise, the plate is full. We have work on our table, but as I said, we are prepared, we are ready to march as long as it takes. Wow,
we would like to thank you so much, sir. And Now we come to the conclusion as we make the word of conclusion from you.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me. This is a very important platform. I'm featuring for the first time. I want to assure you that you are doing a great job. Keep it up. And I would also suggest that maybe one day you invite the Minister or the PS of Education. Education, as I said, is the foundation for national development. So we need to make sure that we emulate the tiger economies that invested heavily in education for development. Without quality education, I can assure you, this country is going nowhere. NACASE is very, very committed, and our vision is that one day, yes, this is a dream that we have. We hope that Zambians can come along with us so that before we die, all of us, we can be producing quality graduates for national development. And therefore, I'm very, very happy to feature on your show. Thank you so much for having me, and may God bless you and God bless this station. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, sir, and for coming. I also encourage you to continue to participate more as we will continue with our program on another day. Please note that this program is available for sponsorship, which you'll be able to reach us for more information on 0974 758855. 0974 758855 is the number you can reach us for more information. So on behalf of Blessing Sokauta, we say see you next week, same time, same place. Much love. Bye-bye to you all.